Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay, all right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. You think you could do this? Jake! You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing fantasy football on yahoo.com when I get through with you. Auto pick, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. I'm the man up in this piece. You never see the light of day. Who the fuck do you think you're fucking with? I'm Bundy. I run shit here. You just live here. Yeah, go ahead. Walk away. Walk away because I'm going to burn this motherfucker down. LaDainian Tomlinson ain't got shit on me. That's right. That's right, shit. I don't give a fuck because I'm winning. I'm winning any fucking way. I can't lose. You can beat me, but you can't kill me. This is your week 11 recap. And yes, by now you guys know the sad news that Team Bundy is no longer in the running for the playoffs. And neither is Jay, for that matter. I'm glad that I get to share this L with somebody. I'm not just not taking this on my own. Of course, this isn't an L for Joe, because this is simply what Joe does. I don't know how long it's been since Joe's made the playoffs. But nonetheless, I am eliminated. And as you guys know, you now have the opportunity to, whoever wins the championship now has the opportunity to pick my team name and logo. And as far as I'm concerned, the most condescending thing that you could possibly do is let me keep my name. I know there's probably a few of you that would probably do that and let me live in shame forever, ever, and ever. I haven't missed the playoffs since 2011 when you check the papers. Since then, I've managed to make it to 3 playoff appearances, championship appearances with 1 victory. Jay hasn't missed the playoffs since 2010. He also has made 3 championship appearances since then, 2 championships, 2 consecutive championships. And those championship appearances were also consecutive as well in 2012, 2013, and 2014. But never mind all that. I noticed something that I want to propose, and I think I proposed this to the commish maybe last season. I'm not sure. But I want to propose something that I think maybe we should implement next season. This season, it didn't really make much of a difference. And what I'm referring to is the waiver pickups. As we all know, the waiver pickups are 30. And so far this season, we only have 2 teams over the 20 mark. And that's Orlando and Andy with 22 pickups apiece. The rest of us have about 11, 15. I think the highest is 18. So needless to say, maybe one of us, if none of us, are going to the limit. Last year, you had 3 teams that exceeded the limit of 30. And what I want to propose is, because this year has been different than all other seasons in that I think we didn't have a lot of quality coming out of the player pool. There weren't as many breakout players. Most people were who we thought they were, right? Dennis Green? They are who we thought they were. So there weren't a lot of breakout performances. So, because of that, you didn't get a lot of waiver pickups. Maybe there just weren't a lot of injuries as well, a lot of crucial injuries. So that may have contributed to it. But more often than not, waiver pickups are important this time of the year. A lot of us normally were in the mid-20s at this point, or at the point where Andy and Lando are. I think that the points leader of the season should be given a extra waiver pickup or 2. I think 3 is a good amount. And I think that's, that plays a big part into the playoffs. At the moment, we've got Eric with the highest point total. Let me see if I can look that up right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, we've got Eric with a total of 1,139. Then we've got Ed with 1,121. After that is Orlando with 1,073. Dro with 1,017 and Paul with 1,010. Andy right behind him by just a point with 1,009. So it may be very likely that Ed will win the number one division, and I'll get to why. It's very likely that Ed will win the division, and it may also happen. They're very close, but Eric may possibly score more points than Ed. Now, if that's the case, Eric should be given or should be rewarded with something. Obviously not this season, but next season. Again, I mean, it's not even going to fucking make a difference this year. He should be given those extra 3 waiver pickups so he can have more leadway, more room for error going into the playoffs. And this is the second half of my proposal, which you guys probably won't agree to. But I think to make it more interesting, I believe that the teams that don't win their division, which let's say in this case, there would be 3 other teams. We all know that 6 teams make it to the playoffs. But let's say, for example, Ed wins his division and Paul wins his division and Eric is the highest point getter in the season. I think that the next 3 teams should lose waiver pickups. Maybe 3. Maybe they should lose that. There should be some balance. There should be incentive to scoring the most points, just like there is incentive to winning your division. Now, if you just so happen to be the highest point getter and the division winner, as I was last season, that doesn't happen very often. But if it just so happens to happen, then okay, then you not only have a bye, but now you have extra pickups. I think that we should do something about that. Maybe you guys won't agree to the second half of the proposal because I really think it punishes the average teams. But I just think it's funny, and I think it makes it more interesting. And it just makes you reach that much more, 4 more points, and you just don't become complacent at this point when you're already pretty sure that you're going to make the playoffs. So you lose something if you don't either win your division or score the most points. Like, let's say maybe they lose 1 waiver pickup. I don't know if it's possible for the commish to work that out, but I guess he will let me know. Now, getting to these division situations, as I said, Ed will most likely win the number one division. And the reason why is because even if he loses to Eric this week, he just has to win 1 game. That's all he has to do. With a record of 9-2 and Eric is 7-4, he can lose to Eric this week. And next week, he faces none other than Joe. So it's very likely that Ed is just going to take the division. If he doesn't take it this week, he'll take it the next week. And the matchup between Pedro and Hensel has also become a meaningful matchup as well. And I'm not going to get into the details of the El Caporal League because that's really going to take shape next week. That's when everything becomes more interesting. But Pedro can make next week a little less interesting because if he beats Hensel, Hensel's pretty much eliminated in my eyes. And what I mean by my eyes is if he loses this week, he's not mathematically eliminated. But if Hensel loses, he is then he goes down to a record of 5-6. So even if, for example, Orlando, who's at 6-5, loses, Hensel would still be a game behind Orlando. But as we also know, points are the tiebreaker for playoff positioning. And at the moment, Hensel has 951 points, and Orlando, like I said, has 1,073. That's a difference of 122 points. He's not doing that. So mathematically, he's not out of it, but I think Hensel's pretty much out of the playoffs if he loses this week to Dro. And moving forward, Orlando has the advantage because not only does he face Joe this week, but he faces Jay next week. Jay. I'm sorry to say that you, at this point, you are a loss just waiting to happen, and you're pretty much a cakewalk, Jay, and that's been established. I'm sorry to say this, but you know I love you. Whatever. So those are pretty much your situations there. As I said, the El Caporal League is still wide open. let's take a look at these Week 11 matchups. And what you had was you had Andy defeating Team Bundy 86-63. Hensel losing to Ed 106-92. Jay defeating Joe 74-89. Eric losing to Orlando 109-103. Orlando is the highest point scorer of the week. And Paul defeats Pedro by a final score of 86-63. Pedro and I share the Tito Award this week. Thank you, Pedro. I couldn't have done this all on my own. I'm happy to share this with you. So we're going to close out this edition, this Thanksgiving edition of the recap, with this week's matchups that are, pretty much just got started already. We've got Team Bundy going up against Jay, meaningless. Ed going up against Eric. Pedro versus Hensel. Orlando versus Joel. And Paul versus Andy. This was your very brief Week 11 recap. And as always, may your quarterbacks get hurt before they leave the locker room. May your running backs pull their hamstrings. And may your wide receivers get arrested for marijuana possession. Happy Thanksgiving. And go fuck yourselves.